Imagine this. It's a normal day at home. You're probably resting when suddenly someone is starting to scream for help. You start to smell smoke and you try to see where it's coming from. You go down and see there's smoke everywhere. You start looking for your loved ones to see if they're okay, but the fire blocks your path. You try looking for another way, but the fire prevents you from seeing a clear path. You also start coughing from all the smoke you're inhaling. You try to look for your family members who are calling for help, but your vision starts to blur and then you pass out. However gruesome that may be, that is the reality of many victims of fires in our country and in the world. Smoke is much more of a killer than the actual fire itself is. It contains various toxins like carbon monoxide, which is fatal when inhaled in great quantities. In a country where fires are oftentimes reported on television, where just last year around 18,256 fire incidents were reported. A year before that, 16,453 fire incidents were recorded. And the death count of those 2 years reached a combined 662 civilian deaths. It is critical that households and buildings are equipped with the necessary tools and equipment to detect and stop fire and smoke. One such item is the smoke detector, a humble piece of equipment usually attached to the wall or ceiling that can detect smoke and thus sound an alarm, in turn warning people inside the building of the presence of smoke and giving them the chance to evacuate before it's too late. In other words, it is a machine that can literally save lives if installed in your house. But with the different types of fires that can occur, what smoke detector is best suited for detecting smoke in certain fires? Is it the photoelectric smoke detector that relies on the disruption of light to sound off? Or is it the ionization smoke detector that relies on disrupted charges? And from there, what smoke detector should the Filipino household use, knowing full well the potential causes of fires in their houses? This is the main purpose of our study. Hello, we are Group 4 of NatSciChem Sections GDE/GK, and our presentation today aims to know which smoke alarm, the photoelectric or the ionization, is better suited for detecting smoke in certain fires, and from there determine what fire alarm is best suited for the Filipino household. Let us now go through our review of related literature.
Fire detection is crucial to survive any fire, no matter what building one may be in. In a report by the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, they noted the main cause of death among victims of fires is not the flames, but the inhalation of smoke and toxic gases like carbon monoxide. They also further reported that a major factor of fatal fires occurs when families are asleep. Because they are unable to detect fires ahead of time via alarms, they often have little to no knowledge of a fire occurring until it's too late. This idea that smoke kills more than the flames is supported by an article on FireCo, which reported how in 2016 to 2017, smoke inhalation was a leading cause of fire deaths or injuries in England. Is it any wonder, therefore, that when a survey was done by Honeywell in 2016, 84% of respondents considered fire to be a major threat to physical safety, coming just second to earthquakes. Furthermore, according to the Bureau of Fire Protection, 34,689 fire incidents in the years 2023 and 2024 were recorded. That's over 13.2 billion pesos in damages in just the year 2023 and an increased 14 billion in the year 2024. There was also a recorded death toll of 662 people within the same 2 years. No wonder these people saw fire as a threat only less deadlier than earthquakes, because in this country it very well is. According to the BFP, or the Bureau of Fire Protection, the leading cause of fires in early 2025 were electrical fires, often caused by the misuse of electrical appliances, overloading of power outlets, and the dangerous practice of octopus connections, followed by open flames from gas lamps and candles, unattended cooking, and embers or sparks from activities like kaingin, slash and burn farming, which can ignite flammable materials. While in the year 2024, the leading cause of fires were lit cigarettes, followed by open flames and then electrical ignition from arcing, loose wiring, and overloading. Now, these fire hazards can happen almost anywhere, but not all fire accidents are the same. There are 6 different classes for fire hazards. Class A fires are caused by combustible materials coming in contact with an open flame or high temperature. Class B fires are caused by flammable liquids such as petrol, cooking oils, and alcohol. Class C fires are caused by flammable gases such as propane or butane. Class D fires occur when combustible and reactive materials such as magnesium, lithium, and sodium ignite. Class E fires, or better known as electrical fires, are caused by live electrical equipment. These can be caused by faulty wiring, a failure, or malfunction in electrical equipment. And we can't forget the last class, Class F fires, caused by cooking oil or fats, and can commonly occur in both commercial and residential kitchens. These fires can also be classified if they're slow burning, known as smoldering fires, or fast burning, known as flaming fires. Prevention and response to these fires need adequate knowledge and training to minimize incidents, damages, and in the worst case, loss of life.
But in spite of this, the same survey also revealed that only 17% had fire alarm systems in their own households, and 3% of commercial buildings didn't even have the adequate required fire alarm systems. These alarms are crucial to the response of fire disasters and damages. Smoke detectors detect particles in the air. This can be done by two methods of two different kinds of detectors. Ionization detectors use a small bit of safety-shielded radioactive material that electrically charges or ionizes the air molecules between two metal plates. This produces small electric current flowing from one plate to the other in the air. When particles enter the chamber, they attract the ions and carry them away, reducing the current. When the number of particles entering the chamber is enough to reduce that current to below a certain amount, the device will register those particles as smoke and the alarm will sound. The other commonly used detector device is photoelectric. It works by detecting light that is reflected off particles from a light beam inside a sensing chamber. When no particles are present in the sensing chamber, the light from the beam does not strike the light detector, indicating all clear. When there are particles present, the amount of light registered by the light detector reaches a certain threshold level, the alarm sounds. But while dual sensor alarms also exist that combine both technologies, they can be more expensive. Each kind of alarm has its own strengths and weaknesses. A study done that tested the responsiveness of these different fire alarms revealed that it was using a full-scale mock-up with the goal to see how various conditions affected smoke detector responsiveness. It revealed that photoelectric sensors generally responded first when it came to smoldering fires, while its counterpart ionization sensors detected flaming fires first. And that smoldering fire took an average of 81 to 180 minutes to transition to flaming fires that grow much quicker, which was a higher risk. But the responsiveness of these smoke detectors were dependent on different factors. The two main variables were first the fire growth rate, which was based on the material or the dimension of the ignited combustible material. Second, smoke dilution, which was affected by either the location of the fire alarm, room size, or ventilation, i.e. if the door was open or closed. The more diluted the smoke was, the slower the response from these alarms were. Now, the study revealed that while there are some alarms that would respond the quickest, it was entirely scenario-based. Even including scenarios that had dual sensor alarms, what affected responsiveness was entirely based on the variables of the fire and the smoke it produced. There is no singular optimal choice when it comes to picking what kind of smoke detector to use. It's more important to have proper fire equipment needed in response to potential disasters. But the study does note that dual sensors performed most optimally for smoldering fires, which was best fit for residential locations. There are also issues in the proper and ideal implementation of smoke detectors, may that be due to cost, faulty hardware, or lack of knowledge. It is still important to note that a majority have tested their fire alarms and participate in fire safety training. Knowing both execute and some fire prevention and response has proven to lessen the risk of fire disasters, yet we aim to further improve the consistency, reliability, and accessibility of fire safety systems across all types of residential and commercial spaces. This includes addressing gaps in public awareness, ensuring regular maintenance of installed alarms, and promoting the adoption of more effective detection technologies. Ultimately, strengthening both community preparedness and technical performance of alarm systems will help reduce casualties, property loss, and the overall impact of fire incidents. So, in our country today, what is the relevance of the smoke detector? How can we use it in our households, and what type of smoke detectors should we use? To answer all these questions, let's first take a look at how our country perceives the danger of fire. As mentioned prior, in a 2016 survey done by Honeywell, 84% of respondents considered fire to be a major threat to physical safety, coming just second to earthquakes. It's no surprise that this is the perception fire has, considering how frequently on the news there are reports about the latest house fire, and with it, the latest fire casualty counts and injuries. Last year alone, there were 36,489 fire incidents in the country, with 341 total fatalities from said incidents. Furthermore, we also mentioned how smoke and not fire is the frequent cause of fire-related deaths in household fires. After all, as you breathe in the toxic gases and fumes coming out of the smoke more often than you touch the fire itself when you're trying to flee a burning household. So it is crucial that smoke detectors exist in every household in the country, because it can save dozens of lives. Imagine being able to evacuate earlier from a fire because a detector sounded off and warned you of the existence of smoke. The fatality count, 341, being reduced by even so much as a tenth, because more than 17% of all households in the country had smoke detectors installed. In country where fire is seen as a great danger, simple things like smoke detectors are crucial in ensuring that many fire victims can survive these very dangers. Now, the other main question, what smoke detector should a Filipino household own? According to the Bureau of Fire Protection, the most common cause of fires in households was electrical fires. These fires tend to occur because of faulty wiring and or electrical equipment malfunctions, and have various warning signs: spark, smoke, and burning odor, and so on. Electrical fires, depending on the circumstances of the household where it spreads or the origin of the fire itself, can transition from a flaming fire, one with visible flames where ionization sensors shine, to a smoldering fire where smoke is a more evident danger and photoelectric sensors are more capable. Of these, there are also other fire hazards like open flames from kettles and gas lamps, unattended gas stoves when cooking, and slash and burn clearing, each of them bearing, of course, potentially different fire types. A fitting smoke detector must be installed, therefore, in the household that can detect smoke coming from these fire hazards. And where should one install these detectors? Well, ideally, everywhere in your household. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, smoke detectors should be installed on every level of the home, with at least one in the bedroom and one outside sleeping areas. However, they also note that certain fire alarms should not be installed in certain rooms and places. For one, ionization detectors should not be installed in kitchens or in your kitchen appliances, because when cooking, smoke can render it a nuisance alarm. Similarly, alarms should not be in or near bathrooms, windows, and heating appliances, fireplaces included, and ceiling fans, whether to avoid damaging them or due to ventilation. And of course, with installing these detectors comes necessary maintenance requirements: changing batteries annually, at the very least, testing them every month to ensure they maintain functional, and replacing them after 10 years. To all of this, it is understandable that smoke detector installment may be financially challenging, considering the amount of money needed to purchase, install, and even maintain them. An ionization alarm, for instance, is on average 129 pesos, and the wireless photoelectric detectors can range from 300 to 400 pesos on the internet. And however, we argue that the cost of this is to some extent not as heavy as the cost of not having one. May be the day that a fire may break out, and thus it is absolutely necessary that at the very least a household should have at least one smoke detector so that security is assured even by a bit.
So, to conclude our presentation, let's go back to the main overarching question. Which fire alarm should a Filipino household have?
It should ideally be able to detect smoke from both smoldering and flaming fires of various types, have a wide range within the household, have a sound that can easily alert the household members, should be cheap and be installed and maintained easily. There are many answers to these specifications, but as for the type itself, It is unanimous. A dual sensor smoke detector, combining the best of both photoelectric and ionization sensors. This will ensure that smoke from both fires can be traced and detected easily, allowing families afflicted with household fires to evacuate in time and avoid suffering injuries or even death. Of course, a proper smoke detector comes as well with ample fire safety preparation, fire extinguishers, knowledge of evacuation routes, and fire station numbers, a removal of any potential unnecessary flammable objects in the premises, and calmness, but they make a good start nonetheless in ensuring fire safety.
And that, my friends, is the overarching lesson of this video. Sometimes, the greatest way to be safe in smoke and fire is to have a small white detector in your house that makes a noise whenever it detects smoke and fire. And that's why we should all have it, because nobody knows when that shrill noise may be the difference between losing and saving someone's life. And once again, we are Group 4. Thank you for watching.